shall resume in 3. Or we shall begin in 3, 2, 1.
How can you resume something that hasn't begun yet?
Way to go there. All right.
Shush you. It's been a while, okay? Good evening, passengers, and welcome to Trademark's Trainwreck, a show featured on Unsolicited Radio, all fandom all the time. Hi. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Whose fault is that?
All of us. Well, most of us.
Nope. You're the one who runs the show.
You're the host, man. Not our problem.
We all went on vacation.
Man.
I can't exactly run a show while we're on vacation.
What is this we, Kemosabe? Some of us didn't go on vacation.
That is
Some
true.
of us were still trapped where we are.
That is true. That's why I said most of us originally. Anywho, before I explain, with me here tonight, as always, is Random Greymane.
Hello.
Sherlock.
Hey.
And the Fangirl.
Hey, why do I keep coming back here?
But yes, folks, we here on Celestial Radio, some of us went on vacation to a anime convention near Fanny's area in Missouri, and which was great because one, we hadn't really seen each other since I think it was 2018 in Las Vegas, and that was of course before the
Actually, it was in 29 for you and me specifically, and for Master Steve. It was technically 2019, the summer of 2019, when you came into our neck of the woods for a very brief time. But as far as the whole lot of us, for a good chunk of us, I don't know about y'all because I wasn't involved in the Vegas escapades, but I was involved in the Midwest Brony Fest that happened in 2015.
Jesus.
We've known each other way too long.
Yeah.
I remain in the shadows.
But yeah.
I'm pretty sure you prefer it that way.
But yeah, we wanted to go on vacation and do this convention with each other. So I was pretty much like, yeah, I'm not doing a show for a good chunk of time. Especially because, in a rare occasion, one of our friends from Australia, Storm Spark, came down to visit me. And that is because, and this was something that was told to everyone during the vacation, we are dating.
Oh my.
Yes.
Yay, congratulations!
Someone actually looked at my dumbass and said, I'll have that one, please.
I'd like to keep that one.
You know, I have to point out the fact that when we were playing an evil game of D&D, okay, and Trademark was playing a bard, an evil bard.
Yeah.
Okay, he managed to cook up some very seductive lines and poetry during that game, and then he had the balls to turn around and go, well, I don't think I could ever do that in real life.
Yeah, it was
Clearly
kind of funny.
someone disagreed with you.
Yeah, someone disagreed with you on that, so...
Yeah, apparently so. Like, here's the thing. I don't have confidence in real life. I played a fictional character that was suave and confident, and I played that because there was no real-life consequence of, I don't know, me being slapped in the face for saying something appalling to a woman who didn't exist. Now here I am, with a woman that does exist, and yay.
He still slapped you. But not in offense.
For completely different reasons.
For completely different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my.
But yes, I'm hoping that this relationship will get to the point where we're actually living together, regardless of which country it would be.
Oh, she's not coming here.
She's not coming here.
No,
I guarantee you that she's plotting your kidnapping as we speak.
Yeah, I guarantee you. The lasting opinion that that Storm had was the same as George Carlin in his later years of stand-up comedy. The fact that America is nothing but malls, just rows and rows of malls, mini malls, outlet malls, mega malls. You know, just malls upon malls. She even went to Disney and pretty much said, yeah, it's nothing but stores. Like, apparently in Australia, like they have back-to-back rides, which means, obviously people have more things to do, and so the lines are much shorter because, everyone's going on all the rides and there aren't that many shops. Apparently that's the problem with Disney. They have so many shops and not enough rides that the lines last for, 90 minutes?
Disney has a lot of problems.
Welcome to late-stage, unregulated capitalism.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's falling apart. It's not going to last much longer.
Yeah.
Before we move on to the other stuff,
let's not go here.
Let's not go here. So, given that we were on a vacation and it was up in the heart of Missouri, not its actual capital, which is a totally different city, but in the fabled St. Louis, I do want to share one story because it is very much in keeping with the fucking Trainwreck, and it be this: whilst we were up there, at one point, Shirley had a rental car, and there was one afternoon when he, myself, Tenkage, his girlfriend, and my fiance, Codemaster C, we were sharing the vehicle. We were on our way back from the con center to I forget what we were actually going back for, but it was just a brief moment. And as we were heading back, we noticed a gentleman, midday, in nothing but short cut-off jeans, barefoot, holding a bottle of some unidentifiable alcoholic beverage, and just dancing to his own contented delight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, drugs are a hell of a drug.
He either needed more drugs or less drugs. One of the two.
At one point, Shirley turns to us and was like, is this typical here? And me and Code both say, this is city crazy. You ain't seen you ain't seen our town's kind of crazy.
I do want to expand on that just a little bit. So, to clarify, ladies and gentlemen, we weren't actually in St. Louis. We were in a suburb of St. Louis, St. Charles, which is on the west side of the Missouri. And
it's still in the thick of the city, though.
It's still in the very thick of the city, but the thing is, I can't speak for the eastern half of the city because we weren't over there. But I can tell you that everything west of the airport kind of sucked. There were giant potholes in the road on the major highway, I-70, that we were driving through, and I'm like, this is a 70 mile an hour fucking road, and somebody's gonna hit that pothole and go flying.
Yeah.
And the hotel we were staying at, while it was visually nice, it had little minor things that you knew that this place is kind of cutting a lot of corners. One in particular was a storage room we saw on the 6th floor that was just left open sometimes, and it was just nasty.
Not appealing. It looked like something out of Chernobyl.
Yeah. That because it had a full house, meaning a whole high school tennis team and high school football team, or
as well as convention goers,
meant that the Wi-Fi was just non-existent.
The drink machines were down. I even squeezed in between the drink machines and ice machines because every other floor there's a drink and ice machine, and the drink machine was down, and it's a Pepsi machine. I squeezed my way in and I noticed, it's unplugged. At least I think it was unplugged, but that would explain a lot. All of the Pepsi machines going down, unless everyone just bought all the drinks on the first day. It's just that's a little odd.
And, well, I mean, 2 high school sports teams, yeah, it's possible. And they gave us free cookies when Trade, Storm, and I had to wait at their lobby for 5 hours for our flights.
Yeah, because our flights kept delaying. Also, never fly Spirit Airlines. They're kind of awful.
Oh my god, you flew Spirit Airlines?
Yes, they did.
What were you thinking?
Oh my god. We should have known Spirit would be kind of rough on them on their way home, because on their way to Missouri, or rather, once they landed in Missouri, Storm and Trade and the whole lot of us, because we were all going to carpool back to the hotel together, we all had to wait an additional hour for the conveyor belt to spit out their luggage. Trade threatened at least twice to crawl down the hole and see what the holdup was.
Yeah, I was so tempted to just throw myself down the hole and just go, "What the fuck you doing down here playing polka? Get the fuck up! Get our shit up here!"
I actually went to an information booth and I said, "Ma'am, is there something up? Like, because our friends have been waiting for over an hour for their luggage." They're like, and the first thing out of her mouth was, "Did they fly Spirit?" "Yeah." "I'm sorry, sweetie. Sometimes it can take them forever. I was here one time. It took them 2 hours to get the luggage off of a plane that just landed." I'm like, ugh.
Well, you are aware that most people call them Ayn Rand Airlines, right?
I was unaware. Now, to be fair, I didn't book my own flight. That was my fault. So yeah, next time we're just gonna avoid fucking Spirit. Here's the other thing. Here's some things that happen on Spirit. Some of which is not their fault. The first thing that happened when we got on our flight to Missouri was somebody puked before the plane could take off. I guess they were either sick or got nerves. We immediately had to turn our happy ass around and clean up a biohazard. And of course, the people behind me are just like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah.
I didn't let it get me down because I kind of understood the logic. You can't fly with a biohazard like that on a fucking plane. A sealed tube, a pressurized sealed tube full of people. Can't do that.
The FAA will actually fine the crap out of you for that.
Yeah.
So.
Me, Shirley, and Storm come in to get on our flight. And our flights have been constantly, and to make the record clear, Shirley was not flying Spirit Airlines, so this is not just Spirit Airlines' fault. I'm betting that it was like weather or some shit. Maybe traffic, maybe air traffic.
Who knows?
Our flights kept getting delayed back to back to back to back, to the point where by the time me and Storm got back to Florida and back to my house, it was like 3 a.m.
Yep. That's about right.
Yeah.
And I arrived back at my house about the same time because I had to drive from the capital up all the way, 2 hours to my home. And considering the time differentiation, 1:30 for me, it's about 3:30. Yeah, we got home around relatively the same time. Now, I had somewhere I was going with the St. Charles thing. So I've determined that I do not like St. Charles. I cannot speak for the rest of St. Louis, but what's really funny is when I was back at the courthouse making jokes about this, one of the public defenders, a very, very agreeable gentleman, very good lawyer, says, "Oh, you went to St. Louis. I went to college in St. Louis." And I said, "Well, we didn't stay in St. Louis. We stayed in St. Charles. I've determined I don't like St. Charles." And the first words out of his mouth were, "Oh yeah, St. Charles is a shithole."
I'm sorry, I could not, there was no way that the venue could be changed because I am not in charge of such things.
Yeah.
This was where the convention was held, so that is where we had to go.
Yeah, and I was just like, well, that's where the convention was. And he's like, "Oh man, St. Charles is just nasty."
Again, very much apologize. But other than these gripes, the truth is, for the majority of it, it was actually quite a lovely time. We enjoyed each other's company. We had a lot of fun. We spent way too much damn money.
We did. We honestly had a lot of fun. And I found out that I can't speak for everybody, but apparently when I'm behind the wheel in Mario Kart, I am boss.
And Trade also learned to fear ever having me behind the wheel of an actual car.
Oh yeah. Fanny behind the car just has the fucking zoomies. Like she will just her car is just like.
I drive an SUV. By the way, I drive a 2011 Kia Sportage. It's an SUV. It's not supposed to go zoomy, but my girl, who I affectionately call Kiki, has the zoomies.
It doesn't help that Fanny has like a crippling fear of being out on the fucking highway, which is completely understandable. So she's out on the highway just panicking about, bumping into anybody, and I said at one point that I was sorely tempted to just pull out my phone and do a TikTok because, yes, Storm has converted me to the dark side, and I'm on TikTok now.
Well, we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So.
There's some funny shit on there, I can't lie.
Nope.
But
In
go
fact,
back to
I watch D&D memes on TikTok every now and then.
Yeah.
I get a lot of good advice on there, but as he says, he did threaten to get his phone out and to go on TikTok. At which point, I subconsciously must have decided I was going to make his life as a passenger in my car living hell.
She at one point like tried to merge into a lane, and there was like this green like fucking like van that was like very close to her rear end, and I turned into Shia LaBeouf in a Transformers movie. I was like, no, no. Don't do it! Don't merge! Thank you.
Here's the thing. I make when I am on the road, I try to make my decisions and make them quick, and I commit to them. If I'm in the middle, if I make the decision, I commit to the damn thing.
Oh, yeah,
Only if I know I can get away with it. If I cannot get away with it, I don't even attempt. But once I have committed, I must follow through with the commitment. Otherwise, yes, I will freeze, I will lock up, and we will be hurt.
Yeah.
So it was a good thing that I merged when I did.
That is a fair point.
And ignored your no's. Because otherwise I would have slammed on the brakes and we would have been rammed.
Just got to a point where I was just holding on to those little
He grabbed the whole
things.
shit handle.
Yeah, the oh shit handle over by the windows. And, to give Fanny credit, I have my shit moments as a driver, too. I was driving around in Orlando with Storm looking for a Wawa because I had a gift card to use to fill up the gas tank, and I go, okay, we gotta find the entrance. Oh, you mean the one you're about to pass? Shit. And I turn roughly. I'm in the middle lane, and I turn into another lane in order to get into the entrance. Thank God there was no one in that lane that I turned into, because it was not a rough landing, Captain. So we all have our moments when we're driving.
There's the difference. I didn't break a fucking law or traffic law doing my shit.
Yeah,
Oh, Fanny, the way you're
true.
describing it, I feel like you could get busted for reckless driving.
No, it wasn't really that reckless.
I over-exaggerate with some of my reactions. To be fair, she's not doing anything reckless.
I'm not actually recklessly driving, and I actually obey lights, turns, and of course signs. The only thing that happens is when I'm in the middle of pulling out in a very brief break during busy traffic. Again, I must commit if I'm going to pull out and try to get into the lane, or if I'm going to merge properly during a very tight squeeze. Otherwise, if I don't commit or I freeze in the middle of the commitment, yeah, that's when you get hit.
I so wanna see both of you do like a French roundabout with like the French or European roundabout with like the double inner and outer lanes.
Speaking of roundabouts,
Oh, I think we actually have something like that.
Sherlock cannot navigate roundabouts.
Oh yeah,
Hey, that is not true. I absolutely can.
And why do you explain how
The other people were in my goddamn way.
You really took the wrong turn 3 times.
I did not take it 3 times.
You nearly missed it 3 times. You're like,
Now.
like I said, we all have our moments.
I thought it was bad for blowing the doors off of some Suburban with tuned exhaust. You know, he couldn't. He had badly tuned his Suburban or whatever the hell it was, and he couldn't out accelerate my 170 horsepower Honda Element. And he tried. I feel so bad for him. It's just he must have had a loss of like 50% of his testosterone.
oh Lord! But enough reminiscing.
I think we need to move on.
Yes.
Yeah, time for the show, ladies and gentlemen. Say it with me. We're gonna take a music break in a little bit. After that, we're gonna have the softcore material, then another music break, and then we'll be back with the hardcore material. In the meantime, we'll be right back with Trademark's Trainwreck, a show featured on Celestia Radio, all fandom all the time. Except
when fangirl's behind the wheel.
Yep.
No, the other left.
Slow down, Mr. Frodo. That's a callback.
This deal's getting worse all the time.
Welcome back to Trademark's Trainwreck, a show featured on Celestial Radio, all fandom all the time. It's time to start with softcore material, and it's time to start off with a sequel.
That is a very good description of the show. It is something that appears on Celestial Radio.
Yep.
Whether or not they want us on there is another story.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
Squirrel hasn't canceled us yet.
Aren't you glad I'm the technical person?
he hasn't put the
Yet
kibosh
is
on his head.
Turn here, sir.
Anywho, we've got a sequel here. This is an older article, about a week old, but it's nice to have a sequel on the show every now and then.
Is it a donut thief?
No. It is the Glitter Twins. You remember
Oh.
them?
Yes.
Gray remembers
Yes,
them.
I do.
Well, apparently, as of April 5th, the charges have been dropped. Now, for
Good.
those who don't know what this is about, let me remind you.
Only one of those petty things in the world.
Yep.
On April 5th, prosecutors have declined to pursue criminal charges against the Florida women arrested for allegedly breaking into a man's home and glitter bombing him. In a pair of circuit court filings, prosecutors reported that their investigation had concluded that, quote, the facts and circumstances revealed do not warrant prosecution at this time, end quote. This is regarding the Glitter Twins, Sarah Franks, 29, and Caitlin O'Donovan, 27. Let's see, they have been free on bond since their arrest in January for the 3 a.m. storming of the Clearwater home of Jacob Colin. Police and court records do not reveal a motive for the glitter attack or the nature of the relationship between Colin and the women.
I'm convinced that he was sleeping with both of them.
Something like that.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I think the original article actually hinted at that.
Well, I have a little thing from an interview here that apparently Franks said that she was married to O'Donovan and that the couple had had a casual sexual relationship with Colin, a waiter whom they met at a Clearwater restaurant. The three-way type thing had already ended, Franks said, when the alleged glitter bombing occurred. Police reported that Franks and O'Donovan first argued with Colin while he was standing on his fenced balcony. The women, cops charged, each threw a container of glitter at Colin, who was struck in the upper torso and head. After Colin retreated into his home, Franks climbed over the fence and entered the residence, where she threw more containers of glitter at Colin. She also unlocked the front door to allow O'Donovan into the apartment. Once inside, O'Donovan allegedly pelted Colin with additional glitter. And as I said when I originally read this article back a few months ago, stop, he's already dead.
Now, depending on how much of a douchebag he was, he could probably stand to have a bit more.
Yeah.
Because this
It smells.
This is
It
right
smells
out
of douchebaggery. It smells.
This
of
kinda
douchebaggery.
does.
is right out of a fucking romantic comedy or a really bad porn subplot. That the two women were married, and they're like, "Hey, let's bring a guy in on this and have some fun three ways." And he probably did something really shitty to them.
He
I
probably did something
guarantee.
really shitty, like either
Gave him an
fucking-
STD or something.
like either gave him an STD, tried to make them break up with each other, or just out and out revealed way too much shit to his guy friends about the fucking three-way he had with the lesbians.
I mean, I hate to say it, and I do not wish this upon these ladies, but if it was the STD, it would make sense considering glitter is the herpes of arts and crafts.
This is very true. I know this from having worked years in daycare and having glitter show up for months.
Yeah, I mean, that glitter is the very reason that Franks and O'Donovan were arrested, because their car was still warm to the touch and glitter was observed on the inside of the vehicle. So it would be poignant if that were the reason, as much as I do not wish that upon these women. But yeah, it's good that the charges were dropped, especially
Yeah,
if...
I actually,
you know.
this reminds me of a hilarious story I just heard recently. It's not recent, so it wouldn't have really been suitable for the train wreck, but this kind of YouTube company white hat hackers pranked, glitter bombed, and released a bunch of cockroaches and mice inside one of the
We were just talking about this,
of the scammers.
Yeah, we were talking about that off the air. I forget the name. Let me actually look that up to give him proper credit. I have it in my history. But yeah, it's fantastic. These people go out of their way to put, like, fucking sleeper agents in these companies. And
I have to, if that's the guy I think it is, I have to wonder whether or not he still has his NASA job. Because he was a NASA engineer.
But here's the thing, and what we're talking about, folks, are the call scammers coming out of India. And the thing is, what's really funny is, like a lot of things in this world we hate, it shouldn't be around. They're technically illegal by the government. All the citizens despise these people because they give India a bad name.
Here we go.
And no one, except the people who own the company, like this stuff.
Mark Robber, by the way. Mark
Yeah.
Robber is the one.
So what these guys did is, because they're mostly doing this to get money back to the people that have been scammed horribly by these evil people. And what not only did they like install smoke bombs, roach traps, or basically devices that opened up and like forced a huge ton of roaches out into their fucking offices, mice, stink bombs, leaving a box of Viagra on the public toilet that had on the sink of the public restrooms that had the CEO's name on them.
Yeah.
Blue dye in the dish soap. In the hand soap. They also hacked their CCTV video feed, and is able to reverse hack is able to do a facial identifier on the people who make these calls, and they can bust them with their real names and like dox these fuckers.
Yeah.
So they actually, according to them, there are 4 major companies that do this in India. One of them has gotten busted and shut down. The other 3 are still functioning, and they are dangerous. Like, a couple of the people they sent in to go as like private investigators to pose as, employees. One of them got found out, and like they sent security after him to shoot him. But he was able to get away, and his roommate that he was living with like knew well enough to say, "I don't know where he is." So I'm just like, yeah, it's a big business in India, and because of how corrupt it is, they're more than willing to have people go out and just like shoot your ass for trying to shut down that business.
Right money in the right hands makes the crime disappear.
Yep.
Sad but true.
Anywho. Moving on to our next article. Oh boy. Weddings.
I should know. I'm having one soon.
Yes, congratulations.
Yes, everyone, in case you aren't aware, myself and Codemaster C have finally decided to tie to knot. That is not why we're talking about weddings now.
No, it is because, well, I want you to make note of this, Fanny. If you want to spice up your wedding or the reception,
no. I can already tell you no.
I want you to make note that if you're going to serve food, like at the reception or whatever party you're going to have, maybe don't spike it with pot.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Before anyone gets on about, oh, depending on where this is happening, it's legal. It doesn't really matter if it's legal if you do it without like getting everyone's consent beforehand.
No, that is very true.
Yeah, you would have to label them pot brownies. These are pot brownies.
Yeah.
Hello, these are pot brownies.
So, legality aside, let's look at this. Bride, caterer, spiked food with pot. This happened on April 20th. A Florida bride, there we go, and a caterer,
Florida man.
Florida woman, They're both facing felony charges for allegedly adding marijuana to food served to wedding guests, many of whom fell ill after unknowingly, make note of that, unknowingly, ingesting the cannabis-laced dishes served at a February reception.
Yep.
According to police, numerous guests were treated for, quote, symptoms consistent with that of someone who had used illegal drugs, end quote. The victims were stricken in the clubhouse of a private gated community in Longwood, a city 15 miles north of Orlando.
Oh, Lord.
Newlywed Dania Svoboda, 42, and caterer Joycelyn Bryant, 31. They've both been hit with negligence, tampering, and drug charges for allegedly spiking food served at the February 19th reception, which was attended by about 50 guests.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Were children involved?
That's a good question, because that
That would definitely get your ass in some trouble.
Let's put a pin in that and see if this article mentions it. As alleged in an arrest warrant affidavit, victims became ill after consuming pasta, salad, and an olive oil and herb dip. Yeah, dip.
Okay. Yeah, so they used pot oil for the stuff.
Oh yeah, more than likely. Several
probably
guests
honestly might have been just a mistake.
That's also possible too.
We'll have to see about that.
We'll put a pin in that one too.
Mm-hmm. Several guests were treated at a local hospital where tests revealed THC in their symptoms. One guest told cops he felt ill and high and was having crazy thoughts as his heart raced. Another victim said he told the best man that he felt like he had been drugged and that the best man was incoherent and could not answer a question. Guest Nancy Postma, 69, nice,
Lord.
whose nephew married Svoboda, told cops that she had no control over her mind and body, and that her mind was playing strange things in her head. Postma said she was paranoid and became loud and unruly in the emergency room of a hospital where she tested positive for THC.
Oh my god, it's like that scene from Elvira.
Yeah, actually it is, isn't it?
Postma told investigators that as guests fell ill, a catering staffer said that she thought it, quote, was common knowledge that cannabis was in the food.
Yeah,
It's not common knowledge if you don't make it common knowledge. Communication is essential in any relationship, be it personal or business.
This is when you have big signs saying hot brownies, hot food, pot pasta.
Pot-sta.
Pot-sta. Yeah, there you go.
Pot-sta. There we go. That's actually clever. I like that.
Oh, it's
Thank you.
good.
All right. Miranda Caddy, a friend of Svoboda's, recalled asking Bryant if there was marijuana in the food. In response, Brian, quote, giggled and shook her head yes, according to the arrest affidavit. Caddy said she confronted Svoboda on the dance floor and that the bride admitted that marijuana had been added to the olive oil. Svoboda, Caddy said, acted like guests should be excited as if they were given a gift.
Okay.
All right, this was not an accident, obviously.
This was not an accident, and these people are idiots.
This woman clearly is a moron because she thought that it would be cute to do this in secret.
Yeah.
No, this is a health hazard.
Well, here's also the thing. But let's let Trade finish the article if there's any more to go.
I've got quite a bit to go, yes. Let's skip over some of the bits. Guest Rachel Penn told police that she texted Svoboda while sitting in the hospital the night of the reception and asked, "What is happening? What was I given?" Svoboda replied, "Ugh, UGGG. We have no idea. Let us know if you need help with anything." In a subsequent phone conversation, Svoboda said she was facing felony charges and was really sorry, but she had retained an attorney and couldn't talk about what happened. So she's smart enough in that regard.
Well, she lawyered up. There you go.
Asked if he was aware that cannabis-laced food was being served to his friends and family, groom Andros Svoboda, 42, reportedly stared at a sheriff's deputy with a blank expression before stuttering a no. Danya Svoboda and...
Well, I'm convinced.
Yeah, sold. Let's see. Danya and Bryant are both being charged with a pair of felonies and one misdemeanor count. They're scheduled for arraignment on June 7th. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, so I want to point something out here. I am not a connoisseur of edibles because it has only become legal in my state in recent years, and I haven't had a chance to try and enjoy it. I mean, I kind of don't want to risk my job since I work for a courthouse, but I haven't had a drug test ever. So I'd probably be fine. But I know this much. I know enough about edibles that when you prepare it, you do not just take up a bunch of dried leaves and throw it into the batter of a brownie. That's not how it works.
Yeah,
You actually have to take the oil out of the plant itself and infuse it with the mixing ingredients, usually butter or oil or something of that nature. You're getting raw THC in there, which is why it's a bit more potent than weed, than a joint.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about that is, say you've got a brownie about the size of a cell phone and an inch and a half thick.
You eat one bite and you are
eat
done.
That whole thing.
You eat one bite and you are done. You don't eat the whole goddamn brick, even if you
have a corner of that thing. You have basically, like, at most, if you want it to make it last the whole damn night, you have a quarter of it.
Yeah,
you do not eat the whole thing.
You know that's
so
Sorry, you first.
So the idea of putting in an unknown amount of THC extract into the olive oil of your food is obscenely stupid because you can't control how much each person is eating.
That is why
there is such a thing as THC poisoning.
There's also such a thing as overdosing on THC. This is why this is why it's often suggested that if you want the same calming effect as THC without being high off your gourd, the best thing to actually use instead is
CBD gummies / powder.
Yeah, CBD gummies or powder, because it has a similar effect, but it is A, not addictive, B, it's actually a lot safer to use.
Yeah, I've had plenty over the years, and yeah, I can confirm that it's not addictive and it's very calming. But yeah, you guys know that meme of, man, these edibles ain't shit. That's what happens.
The other thing to take into account here is that when you first have any sort of THC or pot, there's a good chance that you won't get high from it, okay? You'll get either a delayed high reaction, okay, which means that the next time you have THC, you'll get high, okay? It's, or you'll get fucking sick, okay? Yeah. Because some people just have that problem. And like you said, there's no way of fucking knowing, because this is 50 random fucking people, and so how are you going to do that? You're gonna make them take a medical quiz before eating
the food, which on top of all that, obvious again, like as Shirley was saying, you can't predict how much each person's going to eat. Like, if people put more of the olive oil on their food than is recommended or what should be done for the amount of THC that they had in there, someone could potentially run the risk of an overdose. And yes, you can OD on pot.
It's difficult to do, but it's possible.
Very difficult.
Frankly, it's almost impossible to do, but it does. I mean,
happen. for a 69-year-old woman, I think that's possible. Yes. But My own experience, I didn't personally buy this. My friend gave it to me. It was a vape that was 3% THC. And we had been drinking out all night, and we were just basically at the corner store. They were getting food, and I was about to go home. They said, "Here you go," and I'm like, "Oh, why not? It's legal now." I took 2 hits, and then everything became enhanced. I was like, I can see everything. I'm thinking way too fast, and I feel way more drunk than I should.
I can
And
see
again,
time.
This is a guy who who the hardest thing he ever hits is alcohol.
Yeah,
Which, to be fair, actually is kind of worse for me than pot, but that's another conversation.
Yes, that's a
another
whole
conversation.
Yeah,
But,
that's a whole show.
The point is, Shirley had never done it before. His reaction was completely random, and like, say for and like, different people are going to react the same way. Same thing with any drug or alcohol. Just it's biology. Your biology determines how it happens, and if you've never done it before, you don't know what the fuck's going to happen to you.
I mean,
this woman had no idea what anybody's experience with this had been, or what anyone else would be feeling, and she clearly didn't care.
Yeah, guys, look. If spiking somebody's Coke with some rum without their knowledge is illegal, then putting THC extract in the olive oil is also illegal. I don't care if marijuana, by every scientific definition and study that we have so far, is statistically better than alcohol, or safer or better for you for certain things. Don't do that.
Any mind-altering drug, regardless of what it is or where it is or how mainstream it is, if it is applied to somebody's food, or if you force somebody to consume it without their knowledge and without their explicit consent, you are breaking a law, and you therefore need to face the consequences.
Yeah, and this sort of thing, they're not going to get off light either. Partly because the feds got involved. Okay,
Yep.
Because the feds cannot do a light sentence for this because it's still a Schedule 1 drug according to the feds, and
Thank
that means
you, Richard fucking Nixon.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Nixon. But it's he wanted to control the Mexicans. That was his exact words. So they're not. This isn't even something they're going to get off lightly with. Okay,
No.
I mean, they're going to get their ass handed to them in pound me in the ass prison is what it's going to amount to. So, they.
It's going to be rough for these.
It's going to be rough for these people. So just if you're thinking about doing this, just don't.
Please don't.
I mean, if you want to, and if you have friends, if you talk to your friends who are coming to your reception and say, "Yeah, we'd be down for it," you have a separate area for that stuff, and you will leave it labeled. Be like, "Do not consume this food if you do not want to get high."
No children under the age of 21 allowed in this particular area.
Yeah. I want to point out one last thing before we move on to our final softcore article.
Mm-hmm.
A quote from the website of the caterer, a website that is still up and running, surprisingly. And no, I'm not telling you what the website is because I don't want people to harass her regardless of what she's done. It's described as a holistic... she's described as a holistic chef on her website, which boasts of creating high-quality, transformative dining experiences designed to elevate the bodies and atmospheres of all who partake. Gee, I wonder why.
Okay, I'm going to say this right now. We should not blame the caterer at all. She was probably straight told that everyone knew ahead of time.
Yeah, I know, but still, there is... responsibility should be taken. Don't take somebody's word for it.
You know what it is? She was probably paid to make those meals, and it was just one of those things where, hey, if you need a paycheck, you do what you're told. And I'll bet money that's
I'm fairly certain, like, to cover her ass, she'd be like, "All right, everyone is like, you asked everyone, and everyone knows that there's pot in this stuff, right? Yeah, everyone knows. Okay, here, sign this contract. All right, because if her catering business is still going and she's not in jail, then yeah, she probably had
has
them sign a
these papers.
contract saying that they told everyone.
I certainly hope that is the case. But anyway,
They started-
So remember, kids, if you're going to poison somebody with pot, do it to a large CEO of a company, okay, who is, stealing all the water on the planet. Otherwise, don't do that.
Yeah,
We here at
Trademark's
Solicitor Radio
trained.
do not encourage the poisoning of others with controlled substances, regardless of who they are and or the bullshittery they commit.
CEOs aren't people.
Talk to me
I
about
love-
Nestle. Talk to me about Nestle someday.
Anyway,
Let's shelve this
Moving
conversation.
on. Moving on.
Good.
Let's put down the notion of metaphorically laying siege upon somebody. And now let's talk about somebody who actually laid siege upon somebody. This is a
My God, that's a transition.
This is a short and sweet article for our last softcore article. Oh, man. Can't believe I get to say this. Somebody actually laid siege to a castle. Cincinnati man fires crossbow into White Castle after being denied a refund.
A crossbow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have fun storming the castle.
Like you know what?
It'll take a miracle.
It'll take a miracle.
Well, we got the miracle. Here we go.
Yeah. Oh, sweet child. Here we go. This is an article published on May 9th, 2022. A 23-year-old man is behind bars after police say he fired a crossbow bolt through the window of a White Castle in Northside, Cincinnati. It happened that previous Friday, May 6th, at the location on Ludlow Avenue. Workers told police that an angry customer had come into the store to demand store credit, and that they had denied him. The man then allegedly used a crossbow to shoot a window out before fleeing the scene. District 5's...
So much to say here.
He couldn't get it reloaded fast enough.
District 5's investigative unit and violent crime squad investigated, as they are prone to do. They were able to get a good description of the suspect and the car in which he drove away. Officers soon located a car matching that description and, using VIN numbers, developed a person of interest. Presented with a lineup, the White Castle workers picked out the person of interest, whom police has identified as 23-year-old Tyshawn Carter.
Sean.
Yeah, Tyshawn. CPD's...
Yeah, it's spelled Tyshawn, but it's just Tyshawn.
Oh, Tyshawn. My apologies. CPD's Fugitive Apprehension Unit arrested Carter that Monday on 4 counts of felony assault. During his court appearance, his bond was set at $200,000. That's about
an
it.
expensive crossbow bolt.
I
Yeah.
have a very specific question.
Go on.
What is a man in the Ludlow area of Cincinnati doing with a fucking crossbow in his car?
That's a good question.
Your
You
guess
never
is as
know
good
when
as
you're-
mine.
You never know when you're going to suddenly have a horde of orcs or goblins suddenly come up upon your lawn, and you must be prepared.
Right? You know what?
Yeah,
You know
don't
what
want
it
a
is, though.
crossbow for that, though.
You know what it is, though. It's zombie preparedness.
True.
You don't want a crossbow for zombies either.
Yeah, a shotgun works better in both of those situations.
No, it does
Even
not.
a- even a
No,
bow.
it does not. No, it does not. Depends on the zombie. If you are using a shotgun, the zombies that can still hear movement will know it. Will hear the big kaboom and will know, hey, there's living here, feeding time. Meanwhile, if you're dealing with zombies who have decayed enough to the point that they cannot hear and their vision is based only on movement, only then is a gun good for use. Nuh-uh. But since the last thing to go when you die is your hearing, the crossbow is actually a much safer and better use of a or a better thing to use in the zombie apocalypse. So
Okay.
this
Yeah,
guy is carrying it around because he is expecting an attack of the undead. Instead, he decided to use it because of poor customer service.
I have a problem with this. Okay, first of all, because you don't ever want to attack zombies with a crossbow because you have to put your foot in the crossbow and pull the string back to reload it. Okay, this
true.
this causes you to stop moving. All right, what you want, as far as I've been able to ascertain, and this is just my opinion, is a short bow. You want a short horse bow, like a Hungarian horse bow. Okay? It's small, it's fairly compact, it holds enough energy to take out the zombie, okay, or anyone else. All right. Also, you're in a car, you have a crossbow, okay, you know you're only going to get one shot. Why are you attacking with a crossbow? Why? Just why?
Because he's crazy.
Again, I still bring up this question of why is a man in the Ludlow area of Cincinnati have a crossbow in his trunk? Does he go to
In all seriousness,
the
he probably
forest
goes-
to go crossbow hunting?
He probably does go to the forest on his weekends to go crossbow hunting. A lot of people do in a lot of areas.
You know, my dad, when we lived in Chicago, had a full size, and it was one of the crank crossbows. Okay, this tells you how old this is. And we were living in Chicago, and somebody broke into the apartment and stole the crossbow. Okay, and they're like, "Why did you have a crossbow?" And he's like, "I thought it was cool. It was medieval. I had it up on the wall. Okay, I made sure it worked. Blah blah blah." And and then he's like, "Well, are you gonna find the guy with my crossbow?" And the police looked at each other and then looked at him and went, "We're not going into an alley looking for a guy with a crossbow. We're just not going to do that." So, but yeah, it's it's not untoward that somebody could own it. It's untoward that somebody has it in their car.
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing here is that it was in the car. So, dude, why are you packing a crossbow if you're going to the local White Castle because you want some burgers?
For this exact reason, I guess. Because, I don't know what it is. Some people just want to, brandish weapons and go all fucking medieval on somebody's ass because they think in their demented mind.
They're the hero of their own game of Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, they will get their way because they have the crossbow. And it's just no, dude. Have you not watched the news for the last, 10 years?
Funny enough, there is actually a story about a weatherman who carried a bow and quiver around with him in New York.
Oh,
They made a document, and they made a biopic of it starring Nicolas Cage.
of course.
And it's because, the weather in New York is kind of unpredictable because they're right off the fucking coast, and the city creates an entire different weather pattern. So he would make a prediction, it would get wrong, and then everyone would blame him for the weather. So he would get literally harassed and assaulted. And then he decided to start carrying a fucking compound bow with a quiver full of arrows because that's not illegal in New York City.
I mean,
given New York City, I can understand why that's not illegal. It just isn't. I mean,
especially when you got Spider-Men flinging themselves around.
Yeah. Well,
if it was illegal, then Hawkeye would be out of a job.
I love Spider-Man, but I was one of those kids who spent a lot of time on rooftops in Chicago, and there's no fucking way that Spider-Man wouldn't have swung his face into a building multiple times. Okay, just because of the damn angles on everything.
I bet you were happy with the Tobey Maguire movie when he was first starting out and he slammed into
absolutely. I was. That was one of my favorite scenes out of that movie because it was yes, he doesn't know how to innately use it. Yes.
But yeah.
He has that hyper healing factor.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
But yeah, I think that's going to be it for the softcore materials. So, folks, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with the hardcore material here on Trademark's Trainwreck, a show featured on Celestial Radio. All fandom, all the time.
Except when you can see the music.
Yeah.
I can taste the future.
God.
We shall resume in 3, 2...
Oh, wait, I'm not ready.
Fuck off. 1. Welcome back.
Are we ready?
Welcome back to Trademark's Trainwreck, a show featured on Unsolicited Radio, all fandom all the time, and yes, I'm going to have that entire bit, including the countdown. Jesus Christ. This shows you how professional we are here on this show.
No one ever accused us of being professional.
No one on this channel, let alone this show, Trade, is professional.
Yeah, I know. Anywho, we're starting with the hardcore material, and we are starting off with a bang. Ah, man. The best part of waking up is cocaine in your cup.
Oh, I was close.
This one comes courtesy of Snopes.com.
Oh, Snopes.
Yeah. So, Swiss Nespresso workers find cocaine stash amid coffee bean bags.
Yep. I've heard about this one.
That's not surprising. Not surprising at all.
This is another older article. This was published on May 6th. Okay. This comes from Geneva, where Swiss police say an investigation is underway after workers at a Nespresso factory in western Switzerland found 500 kilograms, or 1,100 pounds, of cocaine with a street value of $50 million.
That'll wake you up!
Yeah.
Yep.
My question is, there must have been a shipping error because cocaine isn't really a drug that's shipped to Switzerland.
I don't know.
I'm not so sure about that. I mean, something's got to keep the Swiss going.
It's their free health. It's their free health care and loads of fucking money.
There are loads of
no. They don't.
Where did all this art come from? 1945 to sorry, never mind.
1939 to 1945.
Yes.
But no, seriously, like Switzerland, like the Eastern European states that are not directly close next to Russia, they are doing pretty well. And most of the time have like decriminalized certain drugs and like legalized pot. No, we swung back around to it.
Hey.
So like the idea of smuggling cocaine into Switzerland, I'm like, it has to be a shipping error. That probably was supposed to go to the U.S.
Let's take a look. We got regional police in Freiburg. I apologize for mispronouncing that. They said they were alerted by the company to the discovery at the facility in the town of Romont and immediately set up a broad security perimeter around the train with the coffee beans with a large deployment of officers. Early indications were that the shipment turned up in 5 containers that had arrived by sea from Brazil before being transferred onto a train. The cocaine seized has an 80% degree of purity, and its market value is estimated at more than 50 million francs. This is a quote from the police who added that the stash appeared destined for the European market.
80% is not that good.
No, it's not. That's kind of trash coke.
That is trash coke, yeah.
And explains why there's so much of it. So yeah, that
more than likely then, if it was for the European market, then it was probably heading towards France.
Yeah, France probably.
Maybe.
Germany, maybe?
That Friday, the European Union Laws Enforcement Agency, Europol, and the European Monitoring Center for Drugs and Drug Addiction, that's a fucking mouthful, reported that cocaine availability in Europe is probably at an all-time high. Switzerland is not a member of the EU member,
Yet.
but it is
it's never going to be an EU member.
It is part
Switzerland
of
has to maintain its neutrality so they can have their banking enclave.
Oh, you haven't heard about that? They're actually considering them and oh god, what was the other state? Finland. Finland was the other one they're actually considering bonking for neutrality.
Finland's doing that as kind of a FU to Russia. Sorry, Trade.
a topic for another day.
Topic for another day, yes.
Either way, it is part of the Schengen zone. I apologize for mispronouncing that. That allows for visa-free travel among many European countries. Let's see if there's any more relevant information regarding the coffee, or the cocaine in the coffee. Not really. There is Nespresso. They did not immediately respond to a request for comment from the Associated Press. And that's about it.
Yeah, I don't think Nespresso had anything to do with this.
Well, obviously not.
Well,
No, okay. The company directly? No. Somebody on the docks and somebody who works for the company to load shit onto the docks?
oh,
Yes,
absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, just 500 kilograms of coke in coffee beans. Holy shit.
Actually, you know what? I can tell you probably exactly where that Coke was going. Not necessarily a specific country. It is meant for the European market, but I guarantee you it's along the Mediterranean coast of a lot of countries. Because everyone who lives there, south of France, the eastern part of Spain, the western part of Italy, they're all so bougie.
They, you know what this is? This is Monaco's Coke.
Probably. It's probably Monaco's.
It's probably Monaco's Coke, yes.
So, and I guarantee you, it went somewhere else. Like, there's a shipment. There's some guy in Monaco, like, looking at the shipment of coffee they ordered and being like, "Where the fuck's the Coke?" But no, like putting cocaine in coffee is a tried and true tradition that they've been doing for decades.
Yeah,
hell, the plot of Beverly Hills Cop 1 involved that, shipping cocaine across the United States hidden inside coffee grounds.
And honestly, it's a fairly effective method too.
Yeah, it's really difficult because like the way people find it is like the most prevalent way border patrols and DEA agents find drugs is through dogs.
Yep.
Drug sniffer dogs. And coffee is one of the most pungent fucking odors in the world, and it can throw some of them off.
Yep.
Problem is, you need a shit ton of coffee to do it, and the only way you can do that is if you like can hide it in a
container.
Massive warehouse level of coffee grounds. So you got to find somebody working within a coffee production company in Brazil to like put it into the shipments for you.
And we have now arrived at this place. Exactly. So yeah, this is all not surprising to me.
It's not surprising, but it is kind of hilarious. I mean, again, Switzerland, not a place you would ever expect.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't.
Something's going on.
Oh, come on. I guarantee you, dude. Like Switzerland is like Norway and Denmark. They're all on weed. They all just smoke weed. Switzerland, there's probably edibles. They probably have pot brownies with like that Swiss chocolate. Why on earth would we bother with cocaine? We have all the Swiss chocolate pot brownies we could eat.
The nice Germans.
Yes, the nice Germans.
10 points.
That's not my joke. That's
10
not
points
my joke.
10 points to Gryffindor for anyone who knows whose joke that is. I do.
Robin Williams.
Damn it! Well, don't say it out loud.
We weren't gonna say that, but okay.
Well, how are they supposed to guess when this is a pre-recorded thing?
That's part of the fun.
That's part of the fun, yeah.
That's why the comment section exists.
Comment section. It's nothing but a cesspool of toxicity.
If I find a more.
Oh, fine. I'll stop posting.
Villainy. Anywho, moving on. Moving on to our next article. Oh man. Just it's time for some unsolicited penis. And we're doing it on a FaceTime, everybody. because we have felons.
I should point out to our listeners that no, we are not actually doing that. We're just talking about an article where this a news article where this where they're reporting on the fact that this had happened.
We are strange enough that people would actually think we might do that. So
Yes.
Good Christ. Well, either way, we were looking at felony charges for lewd FaceTime spree. This happened on May 2nd, and surprise, surprise, it involves a Florida man. This is my shocked face. Actually, more accurately, this is my shocked voice. A Florida man admitted that he was naked and, well, jerking his gherkin when he dialed numerous random phone numbers and exposed himself to unsuspecting strangers who answered his video call, according to police.
Oh man.
Wow.
You are aware that Apple logs every single one of those calls, right?
Wouldn't be surprised. So, everybody, this is Adam Smith, 35, who's been charged with indecent exposure and obscene communication in connection with 3 illicit video calls made earlier this year. One victim told cops that they answered a call and observed a white male completely nude squatting in front of the camera and, as I said, jerking his gherkin. A probable cause affidavit notes that while the victim was shocked, they managed to take a screenshot of the defendant. Good on them for gathering evidence. I'm so sorry that your eyes need bleach.
Well, here's the thing. I don't like to give police very much credit most of the time, unless they actually do something worthwhile, but I will say this about their job. They have to deal with a lot of shit, and they see a lot of nasty stuff. So seeing a random guy on TV, on like a FaceTime call, jacking off, they're like, seen worse, screen cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if they're from like New York, it'd be like, yeah, okay, fine.
So the call came from
Inside the house.
Shut
Sorry.
you. Jesus.
All right, now 20 points for anyone who can get that movie reference.
Anywho.
Which one? It was used twice. Anyway.
It's used quite frequently.
Not used twice, but it was used in the particular movie first.
Yes. Yes, it was.
So it came from a number with an 865 area code, which covers Knoxville, Tennessee, and surrounding counties. 2 other victims reported receiving obscene video calls from that Florida number. Sarasota County Sheriff's Office. Investigators used subpoenas to Verizon, Google, and the Pinger phone app to link the phone calls to Smith.
There you go.
Pinger?
Yeah, Pinger.
Yeah.
That's
an app. Trust me.
Yeah.
It's an app or a phone company? I've never heard. What the hell is that?
It's a phone app.
It's a phone app.
Ping her.
Pinger.
Yeah,
Pinger?
Pinger. Pinger.
So, like you're pinging somebody. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Additionally, the screenshot taken by one of the victims showed tattoos identical to those of Smith, whose occupation is listed as painter in police records.
Dude, oh my god, if you're going to do something obscene on screen and possibly get busted for it,
wear a mask.
Cover your tats.
Cover your tats, wear a mask, and don't have the occupation of painter.
You okay, like, guys, like, Trade will get this reference, but so many, like, those of you who saw the old Batman the Animated Series, where, like, he tries to identify a crook, and he goes into his database, and he's like, I've got a database of, crooks and their tattoos. Well, the FBI does have that. They actually have a complete database of tattoos associated with criminals.
Yeah, whenever you are arrested, police will take note of all the tattoos you have when you are booked in so that it will be easy to identify you. And that is put into a database.
Yeah, any permanent identifiable features about you, scars, tattoos, malformities, hell, a mole under your left eye, they will put that down. Do not show your goddamn tats.
Yeah.
Or better yet, don't try and sexually harass people on FaceTime calls with your dick.
Mm-hmm. So let's see. When questioned, Smith reportedly confessed to calling numerous random phone numbers and subsequently, well, let's call a spade, masturbating, over video calls within the past 2 months. A check of Smith's criminal history revealed that he was convicted in 2019 of indecent exposure and drug charges.
So,
Pattern.
Pattern.
According to court records, Smith pulled his car up next to a woman who observed the suspect masturbating as he was looking at her.
Ew.
Yeah.
Again, consent, please. No, this is not consent. You jerking it in your car to someone who you see in another car that you find pretty is not consent. This is not consent. She did not consent to have you look at her while you jerk it in your car.
I cannot express enough how gross I find that concept. I mean, and I remember, I forgot who it was, but I think there was like an executive at Fox who did that. And I'm just kind of like, why? That would just be the most awkward and uncomfortable thing ever. Like, I feel like that should be awkward for you, the one doing it, but apparently not. But for fuck's sake, that is just,
This actually did happen to one of my aunts.
Oh.
And you know, he pulled up in this Camaro or something. I don't remember what it was.
Big car. He was obviously compensating.
The tiny penis mobile. Got it.
Yes, the tiny penis mobile. And she's standing there for a second, and then he drives off, and my uncle didn't hear her correctly and thought she said, well, he's asking for directions, and he went, well, what's wrong with that? Are you deaf? He was showing me his erection. And whereupon he got into the car and chased him down and actually got the police to arrest him.
Well, honey, I don't see what's wrong with that. Showing you his erection, well, that's just a common courtesy. I'm sure that's what runs through all these people's mind that think that this is okay.
You know, it's actually really funny.
She will absolutely need me if I show her my dick.
What's actually really funny is that that happened. I wasn't there in the courtroom, but it did happen at our courthouse. So we use Zoom. It's a messaging. It's a like a FaceTime like app.
We know what it is.
Yeah,
everybody in the world is using Zoom right now.
Yeah, because of recent events of the past 2 years, and because it's honestly saving the county money to just Zoom calls from the jail rather than bringing the inmates over here.
Once a hell of a lot safer.
Yeah, and on top of it, but there is one judge who's like, nope, bring him here. I want to actually have him in person. So
does he have a spruce mustache too?
No, he doesn't.
Damn it.
But we're having Zoom calls where the inmates can do it, and unless you're doing like a sentencing or you're requesting to be there in person, the defendants can do it, attorneys can do it. So we're just Zoom calling a lot of stuff now. So somehow somebody got a hold of the connection for the Zoom call, and just when it activated and he got onto the Zoom call, he just stood up. He didn't show his face, but he stood up, opened his robes, and started just waving his dick around. So I was like, ha, we got dick flashed on Zoom. That's hilarious.
This is why you secure your Zoom meeting, because this has actually become a common thing. I don't remember what the damn term is for it, but it essentially is drive-by Zoom interruption kind of shit.
Yeah. According to our IT guy, we had, but somehow he got this information about because the only way you can get this information is if you call in to the to the court, verify your identity, and then come in. The only other way you can is you can call in to listen in on your phone and not show yourself if you're a family member. You only Zoom in when you're a defendant. So somehow this guy was able to get the get the number, the password, and able to fake an ID about who he was.
He socialed it out of somebody. That's what happens.
Yeah.
He social engineered it out of somebody, and I've forgotten my stuff, and I don't know how to do it. And if I don't attend court, I'm gonna be arrested, and and people fall for it.
Yep.
Every time.
So getting back to the article, also with that one case with him in the car jerking it, he was collared shortly after that, and he was also carrying a bag of coke.
Of course.
Surprise.
Well, there's a surprise.
So this new indecent exposure, thanks to those prior convictions, is going to be charged as a felony. He's bonded out of jail, but he's scheduled for an arraignment on June 3rd. Smith's rap sheet includes convictions for grand theft, cocaine possession, driving with a suspended license, probation violation, and then there's this weird one that I had to Google. Uttering a forged instrument. Uttering a forged instrument. I don't know if this is exclusively in Florida, but it's a third-degree felony in Florida where, under Florida Statute 831.02, the crime of uttering forged instruments is committed when a person knowingly passes, offers, or makes use of a forged document with the intent to injure or defraud another person or entity.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how that's applied to this this guy. Maybe he just
He probably wrote somebody's there's three ways of things I can think of. One is he fakes being his friend, writes his friend's "I resign from my job" letter or "I quit" letter, and hands it in or emails it to his buddy's workplace. And then when his buddy comes back and is like, "Oh, I got fired," he's like, "Haha, yeah, I wrote that you quit. Funny, isn't it?" That's one. Another one is doing so to an ex, or writing in, or sending a letter pretending to be a girl that you or a woman that you're interested in to her significant other, saying, "I'm leaving you for so and so."
Well, that's also a possibility. And then there's always the fun one of sending a fake death certificate to the gas company. Why is this important? Well, if you send the fake gas ticket to the gas company, okay, the gas company is the one that informs everybody else.
Yes.
Okay.
They will tell everyone else that you are dead, and then you are and then you can pretend to be your brother and collect on life insurance.
Yeah, and it is not easy to get your life back if somebody does that to you. I actually did some research on it, and it can take up to like 5 years to straighten everything out, at least.
Oh yeah, so when the Social Security office has a notification that you are dead, it takes a long-ass time to prove that you are in fact alive.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, one last article for tonight. This last one is once again brought to us courtesy of Snopes. I say that first and foremost here because I want to emphasize that this is fucking real. In fact, I'm going to double check the article to make sure it's got that big ol'... it doesn't say that it's false, which if it's on Snopes and doesn't say it's false, well, I'm just going to assume that it's true. Because Snopes actually cares about its fucking news. And for this one, we're going to go across the pond. We're going to go over to the UK.
England town.
Because never let it be said that stupidity is exclusive to America. It is only abundant in America. Okay, hold on. Hold on to your asses. A fake priest conned his way into the Royal Guards barracks.
Well, that's a thing.
That's a thing. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a thing.
So what did this priest want to do in the Royal Guards barracks? And I'm going to assume this is Buckingham Palace?
It is actually, the British Army said it has launched an urgent investigation after an intruder posing as a priest reportedly spent the night at the barracks of troops who guard Queen Elizabeth II at Windsor Castle.
This is Windsor?
Oh, it was Windsor.
Holy
Okay.
shit.
Oh,
Ew.
oh, I know that when I get that kind of reaction out of Sherlock, that we're in for a good night.
All right. So let me put it this way. Buckingham Palace is the tourist destination. This is like the one in London. Yes, the Queen does live there. It's like the big deal, but Windsor Castle is like
Well, at the very least, it's where all their stuff is.
yeah. It's basically like okay. Let's see here. It's basically like it's on the outskirts of London, so Buckingham is nearer to the city center because that's where Parliament is, and the royal family needs to be around there. But Windsor Castle is classified as the Queen's residence. That's where she goes home to sleep.
Yeah.
Windsor Castle is also very, very close, I think, to the infamous Tower of London.
Oh,
I have to
yeah.
find that article. Where is that? Where is that guy?
So, this is an article published on May the 3rd, 2022, and this comes to us from London Town. The British Army said Tuesday it has launched an urgent investigation. Yes, we already know that part. Unfortunately, in spite of this coming to us from Snopes, the Sun gave Snopes some of this information, so take it with a pinch of salt.
Take it with a nice, healthy shaker of salt, thank you.
Yeah. Either way, they reported that the man was admitted to Victoria Barracks the prior week after claiming to be a friend of the battalion's padre. It said he spent the evening eating and drinking with senior officers before being offered a bed for the night, despite showing no identification or credentials. Police were summoned the following morning and the man was removed. He was not arrested.
Social engineering at work, folks.
Yep, absolutely.
Let me see here.
And just to clarify, Fanny, Tower of London is actually right there next to Parliament and Buckingham Palace.
Then. Even so, but still, like the fucking Queen's residence.
Well, thankfully the Queen wasn't there. She was over in Sandringham. She's at her Sandringham estate in eastern England. So, thankfully not anywhere near here.
This is it's very funny because I did just post something in our chat. This is not the first time this sort of shit has happened.
No, I know of the other guy. I know of the other guy who basically, when Thatcher was, being Margaret Thatcher, he basically went, you know what? Life is really fucking me over, so I am going to go into fucking Buckingham Palace and talk to the Queen, and he did it twice!
Yes, he did it twice. Once he woke her up in the bedchamber.
Yeah, the second time he woke her up in the bedchamber and had a nice conversation about why she should fucking give Thatcher the boot. And after then, he kind of went a little bit nutty. He did... What was that? QD showed me that this guy actually did a his own version of a song, "God Save the Queen," from what was it?
Yeah, he was found drinking in one of the offices, among other things.
Oh yeah.
So he just literally broke into the palace because the security was so lax, which is why I'm very surprised that our friend here was able to break into Windsor. Because after this one guy, they really upped security at everything.
They upped security up the wazoo. Now, the guy that we're talking about here who broke into Buckingham is Michael Fagan.
There you go.
And the song he did was indeed "God Save the Queen" by the Sex Pistols. Michael Fagan did his own remake with the Bollock Brothers, and my god, is it the worst fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. No emotion, no, talent. He just did it because he was riding off of his fame of being the guy who broke into Buckingham Palace twice. As for our friend...
You expected a song from people named the Bollocks Brothers to be good. I'm having an issue with this.
I mean, fair. But I mean, if you're gonna do a song, regardless of whether it being a cover or not, I expect some goddamn effort. All right, so back to our friend in Windsor. Unfortunately, there's really not much more on this Snopes article regarding it. There's just more information about Windsor Palace. But here we go. Here's a statement from the Army, and it's pretty much a standard statement. It takes this breach of security extremely seriously, and it will be thoroughly investigated as a matter of priority. This incident is now part of an ongoing investigation, and it would, therefore, be inappropriate to comment further at
Translation.
this time.
Somebody with a couple of stars on their shoulders getting their ass fired.
Yeah.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah. So, there it is. I wish we could provide more information, like a name or like a motive. Maybe this guy was homeless and thought, "Hey, I know a way I can get food and lodgings for the night." You know,
sounds like something this sounds like something the BBC Sherlock would do just because he was bored.
Yeah.
To see if he could do it.
Just test the security and then Mycroft would catch wind of this and just go,
"What are you doing? Oh my, that is the Queen's residence, Sherlock!"
"For God's sake, it was bad enough that you were roaming around without your trousers." Anyway.
Are you wearing pants?
God's sake, put your pants on.
Oh, dear Lord.
Do you wearing any pants? No.
Buckingham Palace. What are we doing here, Sherlock Holmes? I don't know. Here to see the Queen? Mycroft walks in.
Oh, apparently
yes.
Phil, though, this is
honestly
something out of a fucking cartoon. It's just too weird.
We really
It is
need to
very
sit
weird.
down and watch that. Even the admittedly very fucking weird final season that kind of went into Saw territory with the final episode.
Yeah, we don't like to talk about that. I mean, in reality, like,
Yeah.
season 1 and 2 are the only good ones.
Yeah, honestly, they are. Anywho, I think that's gonna be it for tonight, everybody.
Well, one thing I do want to point out, and I'm sorry to get just a little political, but I meant to do this at the beginning of the show. Some good news for everybody.
Oh, okay.
We had a little bit of a victory. One of the high schools in Florida has actually convinced the school board to not censor their LGBTQ pride page of their
Really?
yearbook.
Hey,
Yes.
that's something.
Which one? Tell me. I need to know.
Yeah, you knew he was gonna ask. You knew he was gonna
Yeah, I'm
ask.
gonna go back
I
through my...
want to know if it's one that I am aware of, because if it's my high school, I will be fucking shocked.
Oh, let me see if I can find it again.
I know it wouldn't be my high school. My high school was all rich shitheads.
Yeah.
So
My pretty
must-
much.
Breaking news from the Mushroom Kingdom in Rentworld.
Oh.
So, as those of you may know, whenever I do talk about my job, I give my coworkers nicknames, and I refer to my job as Rentworld, and located in the Mushroom Kingdom because I refuse to name where exactly in the state I actually live. So the Mushroom Kingdom is not the only place with a rent world. We also have a castle in the state capital of Jefferson City. The end boss of the Jefferson City Rent World Castle sent in our WhatsApp live video
Oh.
because they were called to their store due to an emergency. Apparently, a water main broke.
Oh shit.
And the Rent World of Jefferson City is now flooding.
Oh fuck.
nice. Wow.
It looks like they've managed to save the merchandise inside, but only just barely, and work has begun on the exterior of fixing the main, but
Congratulations.
yeah, the video is quite entertaining. So there you go, a Trainwreck story in my real life. My cohorts in the Rent World Castle of Jeff City is flooding.
Wow. Congratulations, Jefferson City. You're now a water level in the Mushroom Kingdom.
In Mario Brothers. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Time to get the vote.
Any luck on that name, Shirley?
Not as of yet. I'm going to forgo Imager and just look online.
All right. Well, while you're looking up that name, probably for the best that we sign off for the night. Folks, you've been listening to Trademark's Trainwreck, a show featured on Celestial Radio. I'll fan all the time. With me here tonight has been Random Greymane. The fuck was that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was mispronouncing somebody else's. It's supposed to be.
Oh dear.
Got it. Okay. Sherlock.
Found it.
Warn us when you bring the Eldritch Abominations.
And the fangirl.
I gotta go get the flying ship ready. Dear God.
Now, before I say my obligatory credits and goodbyes, what's the name?
Sanford, Florida.
So nowhere nearby me. Ah, well. Yeah. Okay. Well, folks, as always, our banner art was created by Court Awesome, and our theme song was created by Marivex. You can find their social media, our social media, and all the links to all of the articles in the YouTube description. And if you are watching on YouTube, I humbly ask that you like, comment, subscribe, all that garbage. And yes, indeed, if you are feeling generous, a coffee wouldn't go amiss.
Buy him a coffee. Buy him a coffee.
My name is Trademark, and good night.
King Koopa.
Oh, it's summer. Don't summer me with calamari.
King Koopa, summon the Goombas.